All right, today we're jumping into something pretty profound, the spiritual journey of sadhana. We're going to break down this ancient path straight from our source material and follow it from the very first meditation all the way to, well, awakening some serious inner power. So let's get right into it. You know, the whole journey of sadhana really kicks off with this incredible promise, the idea that an insignificant individual soul can become great. It's all about this massive personal transformation, turning the ordinary into something divine. Okay, so that sounds amazing, right? But how? How does someone actually do that? It can all feel a bit mysterious, but what's fascinating is that the path laid out in the text is actually super methodical. So let's break it down, step by step. And here's the thing, this whole massive journey, it doesn't start with some big dramatic event. Nope, it all starts with something quiet, focused, and very, very specific. This is the bedrock, the foundation for everything that comes next. So for the practitioner, or sadhak, the starting instructions are crystal clear. First, you've got the posture. Sit in Padmasana, the classic lotus position, which gives you a ton of stability. Next up is the chanting, or jap of the Gayatri mantra, 108 times to be exact. This is all about purifying and really locking in your focus. And then, the final and most crucial step, you take all that focus and you pour it into a single point of light in a very specific place called the Trikuti. So, where exactly is that? Okay, so the Trikuti. It's a super precise spot. Picture this. Draw a line straight back from the middle of your eyebrows, right between your eyes. Now imagine another line going from one ear through your head to the other. Right where those two lines intersect, deep in the center of your brain, that is the Trikuti. And think of it as the forge, the initial furnace for the mind. And that furnace idea leads us to this really powerful metaphor from the source. The text says that by holding that intense focus on the light in the Trikuti, your mind literally becomes red hot, just like a piece of iron in a blacksmith's forge. It gets hammered, it gets shaped, it gets illuminated, and all of this is to prepare it for the much, much deeper journey to come. So once the mind has been forged and lit up, the sadhak is ready for the next phase. And this is where they begin this incredible internal ascent. It's a really methodical journey, moving upward through the body's 6 main energy centers, what we know as the chakras. And let me tell you, this is not a weekend workshop. We're talking about serious dedication. The text says it takes a full month of focused practice just to awaken and really understand what's going on in a single chakra before you can even think about moving on to the next one. So what's it like inside a chakra? Well, as the sadhak meditates, they start to perceive all these unique qualities. At first, it's kind of hazy, right? But as they keep focusing, this whole inner world just opens up. They start to see the specific colors, understand the elements, feel the divine power that lives in each center. And get this, it's not just a mental thing. It comes with physical sensations too, like strange vibrations or even itching, which are signs that the energy is actually awakening and moving. All right, so after painstakingly, methodically working their way up through all 6 chakras, the sadhak finally arrives at the base of the spine. And this is it. This is where the ultimate prize, the whole point of this part of the journey, is just lying there, dormant, waiting to be unleashed. And the energy they find there, wow, it is anything but calm and peaceful. This is the Kundalini. The source describes it as a volcanic, terrifying force, a coiled serpent of just immense power. It's even called a sleeping tigress that you have to strike hard just to wake it up. I mean, we are talking about an unbelievable concentration of raw potential energy. So, how do you even begin to describe awakening something like that? Well, the text reaches back into ancient scripture for an answer. It uses the epic battle between the demon Mahishasur and the goddess Durga as a perfect metaphor for the insane internal struggle that's about to happen. Now, obviously, we're not talking about a literal physical battle here. This is all symbolic. The demon, Mahishasur, he represents the practitioner's own ego, right? Their limited material mind. And the goddess Durga, that's the awakened Kundalini power. So this great battle is actually that fierce internal fight where this newfound divine energy just shatters illusion, completely transforming the sadhak from the inside out. But a transformation that epic doesn't happen without some growing pains.
After this incredible awakening, there's a really difficult, really challenging transition period. It's what the Source calls a spiritual rebirth. I mean, think about it. Does any profound change ever come without a struggle? Before we get to the amazing results, we have to talk about the process. And the text is very clear. This period is tough, immensely difficult, but it's also packed with immense potential. The Source uses another great analogy here, a snake shedding its skin. You know how before it sheds, a snake gets all heavy and sluggish? It just wants to lie still. It's vulnerable. Well, the sadhak goes through something almost identical, feeling heavy, tense, totally dejected. But the key is it's temporary, because once that old skin is shed, they're reborn with this incredible new vibrancy and lightness.
There's another powerful metaphor too, spiritual pregnancy. Just like with a physical pregnancy, the practitioner feels this heaviness, this discomfort, this sluggishness during a kind of gestation period. But at the end of it, they don't give birth to a baby. They give birth to something called siddhi, a whole new divine power inside themselves.
Okay, so after all that, this intense journey of meditation, this epic inner battle, this painful rebirth, what's the payoff? What does success actually look and feel like? Well, the text gives us some very specific, even tangible signs to look for.
So first, let's nail down what this siddhi really is. Think of it as the fruit of all that labor, a divine boon, a miracle, a fulfillment. But here's the catch. This new power is born weak. It's like a newborn baby, incredibly delicate, and you have to nurture it with just as much care. And when that siddhi is successfully born and nurtured, here are the signs. The changes are both physical and mental, which is wild. Your body feels light, and there's a specific pleasant smell that comes from your skin. Your eyes get a new kind of luster. But the really profound stuff, you start to get intuitive knowledge, flashes of the future. You can literally read the thoughts and feelings of other people. And at your core, selfishness just gets replaced by this genuine benevolence. And that brings us to a final, and honestly, a really critical warning from the Source. These new abilities, these siddhis, they aren't toys. They have to be handled with the same care you'd give a newborn child. Which leaves us with a pretty heavy question to think about, doesn't it? After going through such an unbelievable, arduous journey to gain these powers, what on earth happens if you misuse them?